Hi, my name is Dan Elham. I'm an attorney who represents people who have Sirva, shoulder injury related to vaccine administration, in claims with the Vaccine Injury Compensation Program. In this video, I'm going to talk about the 3 things a person needs to prove to have a valid Vaccine Injury Compensation Program claim. The first thing you're going to have to prove is that you received a vaccination that's covered under the program. So not all vaccines are eligible to file Vaccine Injury Compensation Program claims. Notably, the COVID vaccine isn't part of the program, the shingles vaccine isn't part of the program, and certain pneumonia vaccines aren't part of the program. Other than those 3, a majority of the commonly administered vaccines are covered under the program, most notably the flu shot. And most people who get Sirva and have claims were injured by the flu shot, but the program also covers the tetanus shot, hepatitis shots, measles, mumps, rubella. So a lot of them are eligible for claims. If you have any questions about whether or not the vaccine that injured you is covered under the program, please feel free to reach out to me. I'll be more than happy to tell you right away whether or not it's something that you could potentially have a claim for. The second thing you have to prove is that your injury manifested in the first 48 hours after you received the vaccination. Sirva injuries are not something that come on, weeks later after you received a vaccine or months later after you received a vaccine. If you have Sirva, your pain is going to start within those first 2 days after you receive the vaccination. For a lot of people, it starts almost immediately in the second that they received it. Some people, it takes a few hours after they get home. But you're going to have to prove that you began to experience pain within the first 48 hours of your vaccination. And there's various ways that we can go about proving that. The best way, obviously, the simplest way for us is if you called your doctor or you sent a MyChart message or you went to the emergency room complaining of pain. Then we'll clearly have some sort of documents that can show that your pain started within the first 48 hours. However, that's not the typical case. Most people don't go to the doctor for days. Some people don't go for weeks or months because they think what they're experiencing is just something typical and that maybe they're having a little more pain than normal, but that it'll eventually go away, and unfortunately it doesn't. So if you're one of those people who did not seek medical care within the first days, weeks, even months, we go about proving that by filing affidavits. And what affidavits are is they're sworn statements from the person who's injured stating that they began to experience pain within the first 48 hours. And hopefully when you go to the doctor that first time and then you go follow up with the doctor afterwards, you're telling the doctor that your injury began immediately after receiving the vaccination or within hours of it, so that those doctors, even though it's several weeks or months later, they're putting into their notes and their chart that you began to experience pain within the first day or 2. We can also supplement, though, the affidavits and those records by having loved ones, people who lived with the person who was injured, also sign affidavits that say that they lived with the person was in pain, that they witnessed them experiencing pain. I'll also have my clients sometimes go through their text messages and their old emails to see if they have something where they sent it to a spouse, a loved one, a sibling, a child, saying, hey, look, I got this shot the other day. My arm's been killing me ever since. So that's the second thing. So first thing is vaccine covered on the program. Second thing is pain started within 48 hours. The final thing we need to prove is that your injury lasted 6 months. The Vaccine Injury Compensation Program is designed to help people who have long-term injuries. So if you got Sirva and within 2-3 months, you started to feel better, that's great. But unfortunately, you're not going to be able to file a claim in the Vaccine Injury Compensation Program. Your injury has to last 6 months. And the way that we prove that your injury lasted 6 months is simply by submitting medical records that show that you had continued to treat for 6 months. And we can do that by submitting records that show that you were still going through physical therapy or you were still following up with an orthopedist complaining of pain 6 months after you received the vaccine. So once again, just to kind of sum up here, 3 things you have to prove. You have to prove vaccine covered under the program, pain started within 48 hours, and that your injury lasted 6 months. If you have any questions about this, please feel free to contact me. My information's on the screen. You can visit my website, sirvainjury.com, for more info also, or email me, dan@sirvainjury.com. Thanks.